At the altar, I was about to marry my billionaire fiance. Then I heard my unborn baby's voice. Mom, don't. Your sister is carrying his child. And your real baby daddy is sitting in the front row. Plot twist, that man is Julian Aster, the most powerful CEO who claims he never touches women. The two sentences completely short-circuited my brain. The entire wedding party was waiting for my answer. But I was frozen. If the baby in my belly wasn't Leo's, then whose was it? The next moment, the little voice continued. Silly mommy, that cheater has been sleeping with your sister for ages. If you marry him, he's going to lock you in the basement. Quick call for my real dad's help. He's the richest, most handsome man in the audience. I was stunned. My eyes involuntarily darted to a man in the front row. The notoriously aloof and untouchable titan of high society. Julian Aster. Even though it was my wedding, everyone's attention seemed to gravitate toward him. The man's presence was magnetic. His looks and aura utterly captivating. I glanced at him and my gaze met his icy stare. I quickly looked away, my heart pounding. Sweetie, do you even know who that is? I thought desperately. He's the CEO of the Aster Corporation, the biggest conglomerate in the country. He's never been seen with a woman. How could you possibly be his child? I know Leo isn't rich, but you can't just make things up and disown your own father. Honey, you need to face reality. It's a little late to be picking a new dad. Try again in your next life. I tried to soothe the little voice, assuming he was just being a snob about Leo's finances. But I never expected him to shout back. Have you forgotten that time you woke up in a hotel room? Your fiancé and your sister tricked you, intending to sell you to a client. But you stumbled into the wrong room. The man lying next to you that morning was Julian Aster. My jaw dropped. He's Julian Aster. I thought it was Leo. The memories came rushing back like a tidal wave. A dark room, a back covered in red marks, limbs tangled together. Leo was still looking at me with a gentle expression. But all I could see was Julian's sweat-slicked body. Hear his strained, controlled breaths. My hands pinned above my head as he took what he wanted. The famously self-disciplined tycoon was an absolute animal. Behind closed doors, the efficient, seeing my hesitation, repeated the question. Miss Hayes, do you take Mr. Miller to be your lawfully wedded husband? Leo squeezed my hand, his face edged with concern. What's wrong, Chloe? Are you having second thoughts? He gently stroked my palm. Don't be scared. Once you're part of my family, I'll give you everything. I'll cherish you. Don't believe a word he says. He bought a villa right next. To your new house, a place for him, your sister and their baby. The voice jolted me back to reality. I shouted. The gasp rippled through the crowd. The Millers were a prominent family in the city of Silver Creek. For me to publicly reject Leo was something no one had anticipated. After all, I had chased him relentlessly for years, aimlessly playing the part of the devoted puppy. Everyone said Chloe Hayes was a wild, shameless flirt. Now that I finally had him, I was throwing it all away. Leo's face turned ugly. He never imagined I would refuse him at the altar. Chloe, stop playing around. This is our wedding. If you have a problem with me, we can talk about it later. Later will be too late. My real dad is about to fly overseas to chase after his old flame. Mom. Time is running out, this scumbag. And get my handsome, rich daddy back. I'm not marrying him, I said, my voice firm. My own son wouldn't lie to me if he said Leo was a cheater. Then I couldn't marry him. Just then, my sister Sarah walked onto the stage, her hand resting on her swollen belly. I stood beside Leo. Chloe, what's all this about? Leo agreed to marry you, didn't he? As she got closer, I noticed the diamond ring on her finger. It was the exact same style as my wedding ring. But comparing the two, mine looked like cheap plastic. In that instant, everything clicked into place. The baby in my womb was just a pawn in her and Leo's scheme. As an adopted daughter, she could never marry into the Miller family. I was just a tool, a means for her to secure that alliance. My parents stood up, their voices filled with fury. Chloe, haven't you embarrassed our family enough? You think you can just call off a wedding like this? You're the one who begged to marry Leo. And now you're backing out at the last minute. Do you think marriage is a game? Why can't you be more sensible like your sister? You are getting married today whether you like it or not, too. The wedding had devolved into a farce. Guests whispered among themselves, eagerly awaiting the next chapter of my humiliation. That Hayes girl is nothing but trouble. First, she shamelessly chases after the Miller heir. And now that she's got him, she wants to call it off. The whole town is just waiting to see her get thrown out of her own family. Her adopted sister is so much better. She's refined, well-mannered. Married some rich kid. She knows her place. The Hayes family is so unlucky to have a daughter like that. The whispers reached my ears. And I realized my reputation in Silver Creek had hit rock bottom. But I used to be the well-bred, respected daughter of the Hayes family. It seemed that ever since Sarah had been adopted, my status had plummeted. My parents and Leo's attitudes toward me had slowly changed. Leo grabbed my hand, ignoring my protests as he addressed the guests. Chloe is just a little overwhelmed. Please forgive her. She agrees to marry me and I am willing to take her as my wife. Out of the corner of my eye, I saw Sarah clench her fists. I took a deep breath and yanked my hand away from Leo. I said, no. And I mean it. I know about you and my sister. The baby in her belly is yours. Isn't it, Leo? My words exploded like a bomb in the banquet hall. Way to go, Mom. Expose those two-faced liars. Your sister has been spreading rumors about you for years. She's the reason your reputation is in the gutter. The little voice in my belly cheered, egging on the chaos. What are you talking about? Sarah clutched her mouth, feigning innocence. Chloe, I can handle you bullying me in private. But why would you say something so horrible in front of everyone? How could you use my baby as an excuse to run away from your own wedding? Her words seemed to study Leo. His guilt-ridden expression hardened into one of righteous indignation. Chloe, that's enough. Even if you don't want to get married, you have no right to slander me and your sister. My parents looked at me with utter disappointment and rage. Are you out of your mind? Humiliating your sister and your fiancé in public. Why did we ever have a daughter like you? Do you have any idea what a laughingstock you've made of us? The guests were practically howling with laughter. This is better than a movie. The eldest, Hayes' daughter, accusing her own fiancé and sister of an affair at her wedding. She really is shameless. I tore off my veil and threw it to the ground, turning to leave, but several large men blocked the exit. While I was distracted, Leo seized my wrist, intending to drag me through the rest of the ceremony. His voice was a low hiss, his usually gentle face contorted with rage. Once you're a Miller, you won't have the luxury of being so impulsive. The eyes of the crowd were filled with mockery and amusement. No one cared what I wanted. For the first time, a cold wave of clarity washed over me. I finally understood how dire my situation was. It was nothing but a pawn to my fiancé and my adopted sister. The voice in my belly screamed in panic. Once this ceremony is over, your husband is going to find an excuse to lock you in the basement. There are black cars waiting outside. The moment you step out of this hole, they're going to grab you. Mom, ask my real dad for help now. Julian Aster. I looked where he had been sitting, but he was already on his feet. Heading for the exit with his assistant. Oh, no. Dad is leaving to catch his flight. He's going to find his old flame. This might be my last chance. A moment of desperation. I bit down hard on the fleshy part of Leo's hand. He cried out in pain and loosened his grip. I spun around and bolted, throwing myself in Julian's direction. Bodyguards moved to intercept me, but I shoved a table over, sending a tower of wine glasses crashing to the floor. The crowd shrieked as I tore through the chaos. The long train of my dress trailing behind me. I didn't care. I ran straight for Julian. His assistant was caught off guard. Julian heard the commotion and turned just as I slammed into his chest. Take me with you, I begged, please. His face was obscured by the light. But the next thing I knew, I was being shoved to the ground. He brushed off his suit as if I were something filthy. His eyes filled with disgust. Get lost. Don't you know I don't touch women? He's bluffing. Don't believe him. He's just putting on an act. Now. Once he falls for you, he'll turn into a clingy little puppy. Julian turned to leave again. But I grabbed the hem of his pants, refusing to let go. Footsteps pounded behind me. Leo and his bodyguards caught up, restraining me. My parents looked on in terror at the thunderous expression on Julian's face. We are so sorry. Mr. Aster, our daughter isn't well. We will come to your home personally to apologize for this offense. Leo chimed in, his voice groveling. Mr. Aster, it's my fault. I should have kept a better eye on her. I'll make sure she's properly disciplined. Please forgive us. Sarah just stared at Julian with a look of pure adoration. The same look every woman in Silver Creek seemed to have for him. Julian didn't answer. He just looked down at my hand, clutching his pant leg. Sarah followed his gaze, then lifted her stiletto and brought it down hard on the back of my hand. Chloe, how dare you accost Mr. Aster? Let go, I cried out in pain. Julian took the opportunity to pull his leg free and strode away without a backward glance. As his figure was about to disappear, I screamed in desperation. Julian Aster, the baby I'm carrying is yours. The silence that followed my scream was heavier than the crystal chandelier hanging above us. Julian Aster stopped. His back was stiff, the tailored fabric of his suit stretching across broad shoulders. For 5 agonizing seconds, he didn't move. He's listening, Mom. Hold your breath, the little voice in my head whispered frantically. Don't let go of his pants. Julian slowly turned around. His face was a mask of glacial indifference, but his eyes, dark, predatory, and intelligent, bored into mine. He didn't look at my tear-streaked face or my ruined dress. He looked straight at my stomach. What did you say? His voice was low, a baritone rumble that vibrated through the floorboards. I said, I choked out, ignoring the stinging pain in my hand where Sarah had stomped on me, the baby. It's yours. That night at the Obsidian Hotel. Room 2808. You were drunk. Or drugged. And I was in the wrong room. Gasps erupted around the room again. Leo's face went from panic to purple rage. She's lying. Leo roared, lunging forward. Mr. Aster, she's a known slut. She's slept with half the city. She's just trying to save her skin. Shut up, Julian said. He didn't raise his voice, but the command cracked like a whip. Leo froze. Julian took a step toward me. He crouched down, ignoring the collective shock of the Silver Creek elite, and gripped my chin. His fingers were cold, but they didn't tremble. I have a condition, Miss Hayes. Haphophobia. I do not touch women. I cannot touch women without feeling ill. Yet. He trailed off. His thumb brushed my cheek. He didn't recoil. He didn't look disgusted. A flicker of confusion passed through his icy gaze. See? I told you. The baby cheered. Daddy's body remembers you. He's not allergic to us. Get up, Julian commanded, standing abruptly. He looked at his assistant. Bring the car around. We're going to the hospital. If she's lying, I'll bury her alongside the Millers. If she's telling the truth. He cast a look of pure menace toward Leo and Sarah. Then we have a great deal to discuss. You can't take her. Sarah shrieked, her good girl mask slipping. She's Leo's fiancée. Not anymore, I said, my voice trembling but gaining strength. I looked at Leo, then at Sarah. You can have him, Sarah. Garbage belongs in the trash can. I climbed into Julian's sleek black Maybach, leaving the wreckage of my wedding behind. As the door closed, sealing out the noise, the baby's voice sighed in relief. Safe. Good job, Mom. Now, don't throw up on the leather seats. This car costs more than Leo's life. The DNA test was expedited. We sat in a private VIP suite at the Aster Medical Center. The tension was suffocating. Julian sat across from me, typing on a tablet, while I sat wringing my hands. Why me? Julian asked suddenly, not looking up. Why run to me? You could have run to the police. My son told me to, I blurted out, then immediately clamped my mouth shut. Julian paused. He looked up, an eyebrow raised. Your son. The unborn one. I have intuition, I corrected quickly. Mother's intuition. The doctor entered, holding a sealed envelope. He looked pale, sweating profusely in Julian's presence. Mr. Aster. We ran the test 3 times just to be sure. And? It's a match, sir. 99.999% probability. The air left the room. Julian took the paper. He stared at it for a long time. The man who controlled the national economy, who made billion-dollar decisions in seconds, seemed paralyzed. Look at him, the baby giggled. He's doing the math. He's realizing he's not sterile like his evil stepmother told him he was. Wait, what? Stepmother. Julian stood up and buttoned his jacket. Ken, he addressed his assistant. Have Miss Hayes's belongings moved to the Aster estate. Prepare the East Wing. I'm not moving in with you, I protested weakly. Julian leaned over me, placing his hands on the armrests of my chair, trapping me. The scent of sandalwood and rain overwhelmed my senses. You are carrying the heir to the Aster dynasty, he said, his voice dropping to a dangerous whisper. Do you think I will let you out of my sight? The Millers will try to kill that baby before it draws its first breath to protect their reputation. You are coming with me. He was right. I knew he was right. Okay, I whispered. But I have conditions. I'm not your prisoner. And I'm going to take down Leo and Sarah. Personally. A corner of Julian's mouth ticked up. A microscopic smile. I'll enjoy watching you try. Life at the Aster estate was opulent but lonely. Julian was rarely home, and when he was, he treated me like a fragile glass vase, valuable, but not to be engaged with. However, I had a secret weapon. My son. Okay, Mom, Daddy is coming home in 10 minutes. He's had a bad day. The board of directors is trying to push a merger he hates. Make him Earl Grey tea, not coffee. And mention that the tech stocks in the Asian market are going to crash tomorrow morning. How do you know that? I whispered to my belly while boiling water. I'm from the future, duh. Well, sort of. It's complicated. Just do it. When Julian walked in, looking exhausted, I handed him the tea. He looked suspicious but took a sip. His shoulders relaxed. I heard about the merger, I said casually, leaning against the counter. You should probably hold off. The Asian tech sector is volatile right now. I have a feeling it's going to tank by morning. Julian stared at me. You follow the stock market, Miss Hayes. I lied. The next morning, the market crashed. Julian looked at me with new eyes across the breakfast table. He didn't say anything, but he pushed a plate of strawberries toward me. He's impressed, the voice crowed. Score 1 for Mommy. But the peace didn't last. The gold flame issue was still looming. One evening, Julian came home with a dark mood. He had been drinking. I've been looking for her, he muttered, loosening his tie as he sat in the library. I was reading in the corner. Who? The woman from that night. The hotel. My heart stopped. I thought we established that was me. Biologically, yes, Julian said, his eyes unfocused. But the woman I remember, she was gentle. She cried. She didn't feel like a schemer. You. He looked at me, his gaze hardening. You are the daughter of the Hayes family. You chased Leo Miller for years. You have a reputation for being manipulative. It hurt. It hurt more than I expected. He thought I had engineered the pregnancy, that I had tricked him that night. I didn't know it was you, I said softly. I was drugged by my sister. I stumbled into the room. I was scared. So you say. He stood up and walked away. Until the baby is born, you are my guest. Nothing more. Don't cry, Mom, the baby said, his voice soft for once. He's just scared. He fell in love with the girl in the dark, and he's afraid to admit she's the same girl standing in the light. We just have to show him. 2 months later, the annual Silver Creek Charity Gala was held. It was the social event of the season. Leo and Sarah were going to be there. You're not going, Julian said, adjusting his cufflinks. I am going, I said, stepping out of the walk-in closet. I was wearing a midnight blue gown that hugged my baby bump, making me look like a fertility goddess rather than a bloated whale. They destroyed my reputation. Tonight, I take it back. Julian looked at me. His eyes darkened. He walked over, took my hand, and placed it on the crook of his arm. Then don't let go. We arrived to a storm of flashbulbs. The moment we stepped onto the red carpet, the whispers started. But this time, they weren't mocking. They were terrified. I was on the arm of the king. Inside, Leo and Sarah were holding court. Sarah's belly was showing too, though she looked haggard. Leo looked miserable. When they saw me, their faces went white. Chloe, Sarah said, trying to regain her composure as we approached. I see you're showing. Is Mr. Aster doing charity work, taking in stray pregnant women? The crowd gasped. I smiled. Actually, Sarah, we're celebrating. But tell me, how is the villa Leo bought? The one he paid for using the money he embezzled from the Miller family trust. Leo dropped his champagne glass. What? Go for the throat, Mom. Mention the offshore accounts in the Caymans. And the accounts in the Caymans, I continued, my voice projecting clearly. Leo, did you really think the IRS wouldn't notice the transfers you made the week before our wedding? Julian stood silently beside me, radiating power, letting me fight my own battle but standing ready to catch me if I fell. Leo panicked. She's crazy. She's lying. Just then, the projector screen behind the stage, meant for a charity video, glitched. Suddenly, photos appeared. Not of charity work, but of Sarah and Leo. Time-stamped photos. Leo and Sarah entering hotels while I was supposedly on dates with Leo. Leo buying baby clothes months before the wedding. And finally, a video clip. It was grainy, taken from a security camera. It showed Sarah slipping a powder into my drink the night of the incident at the Obsidian Hotel. Oh my God, someone whispered. She drugged her own sister to sell her to a client. Sarah screamed. Turn it off. Turn it off. I turned to Julian. He was looking at the screen, his face unreadable. You did this? I asked. I had my team look into the security footage from that night, Julian said calmly. It was corrupted, but we recovered it. He looked down at me, and for the first time, the ice was completely gone. I needed to know if you were telling the truth about being drugged. You were. He took my hand and raised it to his lips, kissing my knuckles in front of everyone. I owe you an apology, Chloe. And they owe you everything else. Sarah lunged at me, her nails aimed at my face. You ruined everything. Before she could touch me, Julian's security detail swarmed her. Leo tried to run, but the police were already entering the ballroom. Checkmate, the baby said. Now, let's get some cake. All this revenge is making me hungry. 3 months passed. The villains were out on bail, money talks, unfortunately, but their reputations were incinerated. I was 8 months pregnant. Julian and I had fallen into a rhythm. We ate dinner together. We talked. He started reading to my belly at night. He was still hesitant to touch me, but the fear was fading. One rainy Tuesday, Julian was away on a business trip in London. Mom, wake up. Something's wrong. My eyes snapped open. The alarm system was silent. Too silent. They cut the wires. Get up. Hide in the panic room. Now. I rolled out of bed, but I wasn't fast enough. The bedroom door burst open. 3 men in masks. And behind them, a disheveled, manic-looking Leo. You took everything from me, Leo spat, holding a damp cloth. Now I'm going to take the only thing Julian cares about. They grabbed me. I fought, kicking and screaming, but the chloroform cloth clamped over my face. The last thing I heard was my baby's voice fading away. Dad. Daddy's coming. I woke up in a damp, cold basement. The smell of mold was overwhelming. I was tied to a chair. Sarah was sitting across from me, sharpening a knife. We're going to wait for Julian to transfer the money, she said, her eyes vacant and terrifying. And then, I'm going to cut that thing out of you. Sarah, please, I begged. He's your nephew. He's a monster, she screamed. Just like his father. Hours dragged by. I was freezing. I could feel the baby kicking frantically. Mom, stay awake. He's here. He's in the building. He didn't go to London. He turned the plane around. Suddenly, the heavy metal door at the top of the stairs exploded inward. Not opened, exploded. Julian Aster stood in the dust and debris. He wasn't wearing a suit. He was wearing tactical gear, a gun in his hand. He looked like the angel of death. Leo, he roared. Leo ran out from the shadows, holding a gun to my head. Back off, Aster. Or I paint the walls with her. Julian froze. His eyes locked onto mine. There was no fear in them, only a promise. Mom, lean left. Now. I threw my body weight to the left, tipping the chair over. Bang. Leo's gun went off, the bullet burying itself in the wall where my head had been a second ago. Bang. Bang. Julian fired twice. Leo dropped, screaming, clutching his shoulder and leg. Julian was across the room in a heartbeat. He kicked the knife away from Sarah, who was cowering in the corner, and ripped the ropes off me. He pulled me into his arms, burying his face in my neck. He was shaking. The man who never touched women was clutching me like I was the only solid thing in the universe. I've got you, he gasped. I've got you. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I knew you'd come, I sobbed. I will always come for you, he whispered. You and our son. Epilogue, the new heir. The trial was swift. Leo and Sarah were sentenced to 20 years for kidnapping, attempted murder, and fraud. My adoptive parents tried to apologize, claiming they were manipulated, but Julian banned them from Silver Creek. A month later, I went into labor. Julian was in the delivery room, holding my hand. He looked terrified, pale as a sheet. Just breathe, he instructed, sounding like he was closing a merger. Efficient breaths, Chloe. Shut up, Julian. I screamed. Push, Mom. I see the light. It's bright out here. With one final cry, our son entered the world. He cried, a loud, healthy wail. The doctor placed him on my chest. He was beautiful. He had Julian's dark eyes and my nose. Julian reached out, his finger trembling, and touched the baby's tiny hand. The baby grasped his finger instantly. Julian wept. Silent tears streamed down the face of the Ice King. What should we name him? I asked, exhausted but blissful. Julian kissed my forehead, then the baby's head. Liam. It means protector. Liam. I wanted to be named Optimus Prime, but I guess Liam works, a tiny, sleepy voice echoed in my mind. I laughed. What's so funny? Julian asked, smiling down at us. Nothing, I said, looking at my two favorite men. Just, he has a lot to say. Julian wrapped his arms around us, finally comfortable in his own skin, finally home. Then we have a lifetime to listen. The end.